Welcome back. This is the Multisport Marathoner, Part 1. Okay, let's start by telling you a little bit about myself, just so you know kind of my background when it comes to running. So my first 10K that I ever ran was in Hong Kong in my mid-20s, and I ran 50 minutes, and that was great. Great effort for me, about the best I could do at the time. Now, the fastest 10K I ever ran was in my mid-30s, and it was about 35 minutes off the bike in a triathlon. Similar thing for the marathon. First marathon I ever did was in Hong Kong, 4-hour marathon. And the fastest marathon I ever did was a few years later when I ran a 2:46 off the bike in an Ironman triathlon. So in terms of going from average to above average with running, I'm qualified to comment, just so you know. Now, what we're going to do in this series is walk you through from the basics all the way through to some technical stuff at the end. I'm going to cover workouts, equipment, you name it. And the idea being is to improve your running by using other modes of exercise. And why do I recommend you do things other than running? Well, the main reason, the number one reason, is you're going to be healthier and you're going to enjoy it more. But if we get a little technical with it, why is it going to work for you? That's up in the corner there. First up, you're going to be able to do more volume. You're going to have more overall aerobic training. And remembering that volume is a good explanation in general, that will get you more fitness developments. Now, ultimately, you're going to need to run. But the challenge with running is most people ramp their load, both in terms of volume and intensity, too quickly. And that leads to injuries. And injuries lead to inconsistency. So by using other sports, you're going to end up with more consistent run volume. And probably, if you're like most people, more run volume overall. And particularly if you're a new runner or a larger runner or a weak runner or an injury-prone runner, which is pretty much 95% of runners. We all fall into one of those categories. This is going to get you more over time. So this corner up here is the split that I had for the last year. And 25% of my volume is actual run volume. And the rest is split between swimming, uphill skiing, strength training, and cycling. We're going to focus on the bike today. If you're a single sport athlete, I think the easiest and the one that's going to give you the most benefit sport to add is going to be cycling. So let's get into a couple tips if you're thinking, well, you might be willing to give it a shot. First up, get yourself some comfortable bib shorts that fit you well. Ideally, more than one pair, so you can kind of rotate them. Never repeat the bibs. As well, you'll see I have a little note there under. It'll, particularly for the guys, can't really speak to the ladies. You can ask one of your female cyclist friends. A seamless under garment. I have these boy shorts from Under Armour, and it really reduces the friction between my private parts and the bibs or the shorts that I'm wearing if I put those on underneath. Back in the day, I used to wear a Speedo, and that worked well too, but the Speedo has seams, and those will kind of bite in if you're doing a really long ride. Now we've got those kind of seamless shorts, which work great. Stable platform. So you never want any rock in the interface between your foot, your pedal, and your cleat that you're using. You want that to be very stable. If you are having to stabilize every single stroke, your calves will get overloaded and you'll start to notice Achilles issues. And oftentimes, a multi-sport athlete who is experiencing Achilles issues they'll experience it while running, but the source will be instability in their pedaling platform when they're cycling. So bear that in mind too. Gloves, protect those hands. If you're one of the many people riding gravel, full finger gloves. You'll thank me someday when you hit the dirt or slide out or something. Now, initially, how do you go about adding it? Well, initial targets are really simple if you're starting. I would build up your bike volume so that the minutes of cycling are equal to the minutes of running. You'll be able to build that up gradually over time. There's no rush. As you add volume, it all needs to be easy volume. And by easy, I mean, think about your endurance heart rate running. Drop 20 beats from that, and that'll be just fine for adding it. There's other parts of my site that will explain ultimately how we determine your zones. But for now, I want you to think about your bike volume as supplemental exercise. It's supplemental to your running. It's adding volume, but you don't want it to be adding much in the way of fatigue. Next up, we're going to get into cadence. And improving your cadence and your ability to sustain cadence over time is a key thing that the bike's going to give you. Hope you tune in. Thanks.